Good evening. A church service has been held in Didcot in memory of the 4 men who died when the power station collapsed in February this year. The final body was recovered earlier this week. Richard Slee reports.
This morning's service at All Saints Church was attended by representatives from the town and the emergency services. There were hymns and prayers, and 4 candles were lit to remember Ken Creswell, Mike Collings, Chris Huxtable and John Shaw.
We just wanted to show our respects for those 4 men who died in the power station accident, and as a town pray for them, pray for the people who witnessed this happening, the people who've worked recovering the bodies.
Oxfordshire's Chief Fire Officer gave a reading and told me the rescue and recovery operation at the power station was the most difficult his colleagues had ever had to deal with.
Today's service is an opportunity for us all to reflect on that, the personal journeys that we've all been on, but of course our thoughts have always been with the families, and certainly when the men were located and we conducted a guard of honour as they were leaving the site, we hope that that's a very clear sign of our absolute best wishes and condolences to the families at this most difficult of times.
Although the recovery operation has now finished, an investigation into what caused the disaster continues. And sadly, the town's long and proud association with the power station will now forever be tainted by this tragedy. Richard Slee, ITV News, Didcot.
A murder investigation has been launched in Bournemouth after the discovery of a woman's body in a flat. Police were called to Gainsleigh Court in Derby Road at around 6:30 last night. They found a woman in her 30s with a serious head injury. A 50-year-old local man has been arrested on suspicion of murder. Police have released these images showing what happened when 2 young drivers raced each other on a dual carriageway near Worthing. The crash happened in February on the A27 Arundel Road at Durrington. 3 men, including one of the drivers, sustained life-changing injuries. Louis Greco and Jake Hedges have both been jailed for 2 years and disqualified from driving for 5. A man's been jailed for 20 years for stabbing his girlfriend more than 100 times at her home in Brighton. Jamiv Usman attacked her in front of her 2-year-old son last March. The 19-year-old victim managed to escape by pretending to be dead. She then staggered to a bus stop and told a bus driver what had happened. She suffered 2 punctured lungs and had 500 stitches to treat her other wounds. Liberal Democrats from around the country are in Brighton for their annual party conference. Their leader says they have to prove they provide the most effective opposition to the Tories.
Well, I think most people, whether they're Liberal Democrat inclined, Conservative inclined or whatever, feel that it's wrong at the moment that we have a Conservative government that is unchallenged, not held to account. It's really bad for democracy, really bad for Britain, really bad for this part of Britain. And the Liberal Democrats are now stepping into that space vacated by a Labour Party that seems to be obsessed with fighting old battles.
Team GB's rowers were honoured with a victory parade through Henley this morning. Hundreds turned out to catch a glimpse of the athletes and their medals. The men's 8 who won gold and the women's 8 who picked up silver also took part in a row past along the Thames.
It's just nice to come back and see everyone and wave to everyone and see everyone around here that supported us. And Henley and Leander's such a strong club and they support so many young rowers, and without that I wouldn't have had those other strong girls in my boat, because half our crew was from Leander, and it's great to come back and say thanks to a club that's made such a big impact on our crew.
I've met a few people over the last few weeks who have just said how proud they are to be British, which is amazing that we've managed to, as a team, instill that sort of pride in the country.
And it's been a busy afternoon for our football teams. In the Premier League, Bournemouth lost out at top of the table Manchester City, going down 4-0. But in the Championship, Reading beat high-flying Barnsley, while Brighton saw off Burton thanks to a late Tomer Hemed penalty. In League One, Oxford United drew at MK Dons, but Swindon were beaten at home by Bury. And in League Two, after 4 wins in a row, Portsmouth lost 1-0 at Accrington, but Crawley beat third place Luton. Let's take a look at the weather now. Here's Luke Castiglione.
From puddles to paddling, driving through Europe. Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
Hello again, good evening. A beautiful start to the day in Christchurch. It's feeling fresher and cooler for all of us this weekend, a lot more like autumn. Tomorrow will be another decent day, dry with more in the way of bright spells. It will be cool tonight, especially out in the countryside and further west. That's where we could see temperatures drop down to single figures. A dry, bright start tomorrow morning, especially out towards the west, thicker cloud further east. Into the afternoon, plenty of bright spells, variable amounts of cloud. It will feel pleasant with lighter winds than today. Highs at best around 19 degrees, around average for the time of year. Have a good evening.
Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
A decent day tomorrow then. Well, that's it from the weekend team. We're back tomorrow just after 6 o'clock. Please join us if you can. But first, have a great evening. Bye-bye.